One, in the pharmaceutical business, it is said that something is a miracle cure for the first 10 years. Then in the next 10 years, side effects occur. And in the third 10 years, the lawsuits come out. Now, stick with me. Every generation also thinks it invented something new, revolutionary, once in a lifetime, life changing, et cetera, et cetera. In the 50s and 60s, in the fad occupation of education, there were slide tape shows. There were teaching machines where a student would scroll through paper and mark multiple choice questions, and the teacher would then look it over. I never actually saw one. They were only talked about. I doubt whether they were implemented in any great numbers. Okay, so then we move to the um, excitement over the internet and the democratization of communication. Well, it's kind of interesting. How is it democratic where everybody's talking to themselves or to a very small group of people, much like the pamphleteering that was done by Thomas Paine and many, many others 150, 200 years ago, where you would hand around the pamphlet and there was a blank page on the back and you could write whatever you wanted, kind of an early version of X or Twitter. Okay, now we get to the books. All kinds of books are now coming out in roughly the third decade of all this, saying what damage is being done. Here's one, Stolen Focus. A lot of good little quotes in there that I mark with sticky notes. Why you can't pay attention and how to think deeply again. I think the consensus is turn off, unsubscribe, get some time away from so-called social media because it's really daft. Stolen Focus. Johann Hari, good book. Now, the other thing I notice, and stick with me, is people walking down the street reading. Have I got mine? Yes, I do. Reading their phones. Well, decades ago, we did see the occasional daft person walking down the street reading a book, and it was pretty ridiculous to be walking along like that, but some people did it. These people are indeed vulnerable in a couple of ways. As a crisis manager and a risk manager, I say that's the person that someone would mug. That is a vulnerable person not looking where they're going. And then you've seen all the YouTube videos on people walking out into the street, into a lamp pole, into a body of water, etc. I mean, it's really daft. Okay, here's the outrage machine, and this is how tech amplifies discontent, disrupts democracy, and what we can do about it. There it is, much the same thing. Some of these books note that the automatic scrolling on some social media just kind of addicts you, is addictive. Now, back in the day, people would surf radio stations, TV stations, read different newspapers, read different magazines, but they weren't kind of forced to do it. The new newspaper didn't jut into their hands. Anyway, outrage machine, how this is amplifying outrage. Attention span, very much like stolen focus. Groundbreaking way to restore balance, happiness, and productivity. And guess what? It's just like people used to do when they went to a cottage or on a vacation or on a car ride, even on a Sunday, is just get away from it for a little while. And then The Loop, Jacob Ward, how technology is creating a world without choice and how to fight back. Now, I was just in the bookstore and I noticed a whole bunch of other titles along similar lines. Get the latest, figure out how to unplug and how to focus and concentrate on things because the multitasking is an absolute illusion. Good reading.